Hi, Dan Verton, Executive Editor with Meritalk. I'm here at the Akamai Government Forum, and today we're speaking with Mr. Fran Trentley, Senior Director of Global Security and Government Services at Akamai. Fran, thank you so much for being here.
I actually got promoted last year. They just still have senior director on there. Not that I'm picky, but I am the VP for Global Security and Government Services.
VP. Yeah. You heard it here first. So, theme of this year's conference, safeguarding a dynamic government.
Yes.
Tell me, what does that mean to you, and what does it mean to Akamai overall?
So governments and actually countries, right? We look at the same kind of high-level philosophy that we would look at enterprise. We need to be able to protect your internet presence because that's important to you, especially in the current hyper-connected world, right? If you're not available and you don't have an internet presence, you're not playing, right? You're not in the play. Protect that internet presence, and we do specific things for that to protect the DNS, protect the application itself, protect the origin infrastructure.
Right.
Then we look at protecting those applications delivered inside in net, right? So internally. We do quite a bit of that work for DoD now, delivering applications internally to internal users and protecting those applications. And then the piece that we are moving into, if you listen to Tom's keynote, is protecting your enterprise personnel against getting into bad things out on the internet, which is key, right? Keeping them from getting into something, or if they've already been compromised, keeping that agent that they've downloaded from going out and exfiltrating data, and focus on that. So protect, in a nutshell, protect that internet presence, protect the applications that you're delivering internal to internal users, and then protect your internal users from going out and get into the bad things on the internet. Yeah,
we actually just talked to Tom, referencing Tom Layton, the CEO of Akamai, and I was fascinated in that it really sounds like, I know this is not the case, but it sounds like we're once again talking about perimeter security. In a sense that what you want is the bad things to happen out as far away from the crown jewels as possible. So even when your users click on links they shouldn't be click on or get compromised, you want to be able to contain that and stop it from doing more harm. Is that the concept and the philosophy behind this approach?
So we don't talk perimeter anymore because you're getting away from this crunchy shell kind of idea. Think of a ball of rice, right? And each of those rice kernels are end users, or they are, from our perspective, infrastructure that we've got out around the globe, right? And it's not so much, hey, I'm going to stop you at my firewall, I'm going to stop you at my enterprise, I'm going to stop you where you are, right? So as close to where you are trying to do bad things, I want to mitigate that threat as close to where you are. So when we talk about on the edge, it's funny because when you think on the edge, you think, okay, well, here's where we were and here's the edge. The edge isn't really like that, right? The edge is close to the end user, and it's your perspective,
so
right?
There are many edges.
Yes, the edges are all over the place.
Interesting.
But think of it close to the end, close to that client that is either trying to do bad things or trying to do good things.
Right. Let me ask you to take out your crystal ball.
Yes.
Look out maybe 3-5 years. The threats continue to increase in their complexity, the pace at which they're attacking infrastructure, but also the complexity of what we're trying to protect is increasing. So what do you see as some of the big issues 3-5 years down the road?
Okay, so let me take that in kind of the way that I organize it in my head, and the way that I organize it when I normally talk to people, and I talk about cyborg zombies and knights. So we talk about cyborgs, that our customers we're getting closer to technology. We don't do desktops anymore. We don't even do notebooks anymore. We don't even do iPads anymore, and we're into devices. And if you are not familiar, DARPA is building a brain-to-computer interface chip to get rid of that. And someday when you are now talking to your great-grandkids, you'll say, oh, I remember the day when I had to carry a 6-ounce device. I didn't have one of those cool chips in the back of my head to give me direct interface. Just like we tell those stories now. I remember we didn't have computers, right? But those stories are going to be very intense. There is an expectation now of constant connectivity and availability. And if you are not available, right, if I'm trying to get to your site or your internet presence, you are unavailable, I have another option. And I can go to it immediately. And for you, if you're an e-commerce site, that's a walk away, right? That's not good, right? You don't want to do that.
Right.
So very high expectations from the cyborgs that we have out there that are now our customers. When you look at it from a threat perspective, our adversaries are, and we talked about it in one of the last sessions. They're not dumb. 10 years ago, as an adversary, I had hundreds of thousands of end user machines. I was compromising your home computer. The problem with that is all home computers are connected a little bit different, have different processing. You probably don't have your clock set right. It's hard to get them all coordinated. It's very difficult to manage a high volume of those bots, those zombies out there. What have we done in the past 10 years? We've moved to cloud. So has our adversary. So now instead of compromising end user machines at the house, I'm compromising cloud infrastructure. Well, that gives me huge access to bandwidth, to processing power, to IP space, and I'm much more nimble now. So now when I tell those virtual machines to go do something, they all do it.
Right.
I don't have to wait for the clock to hit and then to come back and get instructions.
Yeah.
So where we used to see, if you look at it from a graphing perspective, and you used to see this ramp as the bots would come at you, as the zombies would come at you, and then you'd have the big volume of them. Now it's more digital. There's no ramp anymore. It's straight, high peaks, high volume, and then boom, done.
Right.
And if they're not getting impact on target, they will change the vector, and they will do that routinely. And they can do that over time. We've had massive attacks to our against our customers from a DNS perspective, hundreds of gigs.
Right.
Nobody wants to build that out, right? So I think that's going to continue to go, and we're going to see the transition like we've seen. Individual machines attacking origin infrastructure. Now we got cloud infrastructure attacking origin infrastructure. Where is your origin going? To the cloud. So now we've got cloud infrastructure attacking cloud infrastructure because that's where the origin is. So we will continue to see that trend. I think from a threat perspective, we are going to see more of the account checkers, right? This is problematic. This is why my one ask, don't use the same login and password for everything you own. Because if I compromise one data set, I re-leverage that to get into everything else. I think that from a mitigation perspective, we're going to get into tighter authentication and authorization. That's going to have to happen, right? We're going to have to get tighter credentials, multi-factor authentication. We're going to have to go there. From a threat perspective, we see a lot in credential abuse right now, and we are very, very focused on providing our customers the ability to identify and clients that have been involved with credential abuse, which is huge.
Right.
Did I answer your
Absolutely.
Okay.
So that's a great transition point, because what we're talking about really is this is great need for automation in terms of defending yourself, because the pace, the rate of attacks, and the fact that they happen in a nanosecond, you can't call a meeting to defend against that. So
it's
you
got to be
need
at machine speed.
Right. So if we have machine speed defenses in place, there's still a need for information sharing.
Sure.
We've been talking about information sharing for, in cyber for the last 20 years.
Yeah.
Are we where we need to be yet?
So I think it's punctuated equilibrium. I don't think we'll ever be where we need to be. I think are we moving so we talk about that, right? And we beat ourselves up a lot, and we say, hey, we're not doing it as well as we could. But we're a heck of a lot better than we were. And I was mentioning this story when I was talking to some of the banks 2 weeks ago. They all share. Now that, 10 years ago,
Right.
they're competitors. On the outside, commercially, they're commercial competitors. But they're sharing threat intel. And we see that across the board. So from a security perspective, everybody is sharing. I think from a trend, your question to me earlier, from a trend perspective, everybody is looking at that automated indicator sharing. And I think that we have a lot of that capability out there now. We provide a capability like that. But we also give you the tool to leverage it, right? So you can make a decision on it and decide to use it or not use it on every request that comes to your site.
Right.
We are also delivering that as a fee to support other people's automated indicator sharing systems. So I think it's getting there. Now the trick is, now I give you all this, right? You've got reputations for all these clients. Let's imagine that you actually have a way to implement that at machine speed.
Right.
there's still some challenges. How much do you trust the data? Do you trust what I'm telling you? Do you trust what everybody else is telling you? We're still noodling that out, right? But I think everybody agrees that we're a heck of a lot farther ahead than we were. We need to get faster. It needs to be at machine speed because you're right. Humans can't respond at the speed that we're seeing the attacks right now. They can't make decisions at that level. But you still need a human in the game. What we look at is augmented human capability. We look at giving the team that we have running our SOCs the ability to make decisions, providing them information, not dissimilar to what we've done with DoD command and control systems forever, right? Give you as much information as I can so you can make the best decisions that you can. So augmented human capability, because the AIs are just not where we need them to be yet, right? We're just not there yet. So I think we're better in short, and we're better. We're heading in the right direction. We got a long way to go.
Excellent.
And I don't think we'll ever get there. I think it's aspirational.
Kind of a moving target. Right. Well, we've been speaking with Mr. Fran Trentley. What's your title now?
I am the VP for Global Security and Government Services.
Which is higher than a senior director.
It is.
All right. That's great. Congratulations on the promotion. I appreciate it.
Yes, thank you, sir.
I'm Dan Verton, Executive Editor at Merit Talk. Thanks for watching.